Hey, though. It's the mafia. This shit for all the gangsters, nigga. Real story. Hey. Jugging out the double doors, cuz in the 6'4". Choppers hitting switches on these niggas back in 94. Basketball practice, and after that I'm back to selling dope. When the cops hit the ab, I done made a rack off of my pager though. When the WAP hit my box, I'ma hit them back, I'm on the payphone. My shoebox getting full, I need to go buy me a safe for real. It's treacherous outside, not supposed to have it, but I paid for it. A brand new out the box, Toolie on me while I'm trapping. And I hope I ain't gotta go use it, but I know how shit tend to happen. And plus it be like insurance with a nigga be out here trafficking. I'm talking about how the money gon' be good, but the niggas hating gon' be on bullshit. So it's Mando that I'm sliding with this full clip and I bust this bitch. Trust me if I tell you that I'm with this shit, I did this shit. Believe me when I tell you it's on the floor, I don't be capping, nigga. What's good, what's good, what's good? It's time for that Culture for the Streets, hosted by Mafia and Pain. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, ding the notification bell. Don't leave up out the trap till you've been served, and we serving niggas every day. You know how this shit go. Back like we never left. Anyway, man, I just wanted to touch up on some things about the rap culture. And when I speak on the rap culture, I'm talking about like a lot of things that go left, really not touched on. Like a lot of things that's about the rap culture that's not touched on. Like, for instance, like artists from R&B singers to rappers have been invested in by hustlers, drug kingpins, or what have you, trappers, or whatever you want to call them. Where you stay, everybody call it something different. You see what I'm saying? But a hustler, drug kingpin, trap nigga, street nigga, whatever you want to say, has always been detrimental in the rap game. And the reason I say this is because you have always had an abundance of talent, whether it be R&B, rap, you know, etc. Even entertainment, because it has been people from the streets that have took their money and invested in people they believed in. For instance, people like Anita Baker. Allegedly things like Death Row, where they said allegedly Harry O put up the money to actually start the company. And that company ended up being worth damn near $1 billion down the road. So, you know what I mean? Without allegedly the help of Harry O, who's to say Death Row is ever a thing, especially ever a thing that gets that big? Which goes back to like Anita Baker. Freeway Rick Ross in an interview said before that he put up some money in the past, you know, back in the 80s when Anita Baker was trying to get on and they didn't have the money to fund her career as an R&B singer. Because if you know about anything when it comes to being an artist in the game, whether it be a rapper or R&B singer, it costs a significant amount of funds. Like, nigga, I'm an artist myself and I've always funded my own career. Nigga, you can go homeless if your bag ain't right. That's how this shit go. So if you really ain't consistently hustling, making a return on your investments, you can lose. So who has the amounts of money at their disposal that can risk taking chances with it at the same time, as far as invested in certain things, whether it works or not? A street nigga. Hustlers, drug kingpins, people that have enormous amounts of money at their leisure. So when they spot somebody that may have a talent, they invested in them. Now, I'm not going to say just because you took dirty money and you invested in somebody that actually had a bright future, that's not a wrong thing, because at the end of the day, you believed in some people that others didn't even believe in. So just think about it like that. Like, would Anita Baker have been what she is today as an icon in R&B? Just, well, not, you know, I ain't gonna say icon, but she is an R&B legend in my eyes. You see what I'm saying? Would she be what she is today without the funds from Freeway Rick Ross to start her career? Now, I'm not gonna say he funded her all through her career. He went to jail, so we know that's cap. But to be able to get somebody started is no different from holding the bike up for somebody and showing them how to pedal it until they get it right. You see what I'm saying? And now they can pedal on their own. It's the same thing. So at the end of the day, hustlers and the rap culture always been tied together. And I doubt it'll ever not be tied together. Look what's going on today. We got a lot of rappers in different regions of the United States, whether it be New York, DMV, West Coast, down south. You see what I'm saying? Catching RICO charges for hustling and things like that. But what do you think come in those atmospheres when things like that's going on? Because some people do have to actually go out there and fund their own career, fund their own chase on a race for their dreams, to chase their dreams. You have to fund that. So people like Freeway Rick Ross, even with Murder Inc., it was alleged that Murder Inc. and Supreme had things going on to the point where the feds was targeting Supreme for cases he had in the street. But they was also making it seem like Murder Inc. and Supreme had certain things going on to the fact where it put them under investigation too. You see what I'm saying? To the point where even their funds got froze because, like, Preem being in that situation, now Murder Inc. is a multi-million-dollar company. You can afford to get him legal attorneys to fight these cases they charging him with, like the best attorneys, because you have unlimited amounts of money, and then you got these machines behind you as far as these labels and these companies. You see what I'm saying? And when they really deal with you like that, you better to them outside than you is inside. If you're making a record label, let's just say around 30, 40 million a year, some stuff like that. Nigga, they can't, listen, they're not gonna make 30, 40,000 a year, 30, 40 million a year with you locked up. They'll make that with you dead, but with you locked up, they're not generating that. But for people to come from the streets, a place where hate is real, doubt is real, support is non-existent, the poverty, we can't forget just the struggle as a whole. In any black community, is mostly a lot of struggle going on. So for people that, whether they come from the street or not, for people to be in the streets, obtain a certain level of stability far as money goes, turn around, look at somebody and be like, they got it, or they can be this, and they can do this, but I know they can't do it. Or somebody come to you and be like, look, we need some help, and you decide to jump out there and do it and feed somebody else's dream. I gotta commend you for that, no matter what the situation is, as far as the negative versions of whatever you did to get and obtain the stability you had put yourself into to be able to help somebody else that's trying to do something right. I can't knock that, because us having a talent don't always guarantee us the success, and us having a talent don't always guarantee them white folks gonna put money behind us to make sure that we see what we trying to see coming to fruition. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna pan out like that. So to be able to see people come from where you come from that actually gained a certain, level when it comes to stability, I mean, and they turn around and use the same money they took all the risks in the world to obtain to help somebody else, you got to commend them, because at certain parts of the game, they help certain artists and certain singers and certain entertainers get into the game. And we got to commend that, even though it come from a bad place, even though the money got blood on it, because at the end of the day, it's people that you admire for what they do today. that behind those curtains, you don't even realize that this person got the help that they needed, not from a record label, not from a corporate company, but from the streets. The streets helped this person. Like, think about it. Even with Chief Keef, like Chief Keef didn't have the money it takes to put yourself in position to get where he is today. That was his uncle. It's people today in rap that didn't have what you thought they had to get into the game. It might have been his homie right here that he with every day that got all the money, but he got all the talent. So the homie with all the money gonna put it on his homie with all the talent, because his homie with all the talent go out there and win. He win, not just win, but they both win. And not only that, you didn't waste no money, because it's all finna come back and it puts you in a different atmosphere, because y'all went from taking a risk and then you put your money up on a gamble. You gambling in the streets, and you gamble by putting this up on somebody else who's chasing their dream, just because you see the bigger picture and you believe in them. Then they go make that happen, and you see that little bit of money that you put forth on them turn into millions of dollars, and that also adjusts your life too. So at the end of the day, you gotta. This is always going to be a part of hip hop, man. This is always going to be a part of rap culture. We always going to have the streets. Even when Melly Mel and all of them came out and told their stories in the 80s in these rap songs, these niggas came from the projects, man. These niggas came from the block, man. They came from the struggle for real. Think about it. Even Eric B and Rakim, them niggas was around the people you glorify today in music. Those are the type of people that they was around back then. Eric B and Rakim was running around with all the dope boys in New York, all the dope boys that meant something in New York. Them niggas was known by them, and they was respected, and they respected the niggas that they knew that was outside in the streets, man. It one hand fed the other always, because you put the nigga on, he get on, it puts you on too. Even though you already on, you get to get on legally. It changes your life. So yeah, rap culture gonna always have the streets involved. Like, look at what's going on today. Chicago started the drill movement. Drill got so big that it spilled into reality, to the point where the kids is outside living the drill reality based on their favorite rappers and what they into and what they rap about and the content they put out. You got the whole entire young generation trying to relive that in their reality. They want to switch on the gun. They want the 30 hanging out the gun. They want to be able to walk down on the aisle. They want to do all the shit the Chicago drill rappers rap about. And that has influenced a whole generation of kids. So if you think something is negative as killing, dissing the dead, promoting violence, glorifying death, etc., if you think that gave the world so much of an impression that people are trying to live in that space, don't never doubt that the average kingpin, the average nigga in your section or in any big city that was sitting next to some talent, but the nigga had them birds or the nigga had the keys to heroin or whatever it was, and he looked to the side and he see his little homie or somebody come to him with some talent, and they like, look, we could do this with them, but we just need the money. And you make a pimp decision and you put that money up, and then that person go become successful. This is a repeating cycle in rap. This is something that's not talked about all the time, because you're not going to hear, and you're not supposed to hear that, because if we come from the streets, I'm not supposed to say, okay, when you get on and you sitting on Vlad TV or you sitting on me, wherever you sitting on, drink, it doesn't matter. And they ask you that question, well, how did you get on? You can't say, well, my homie was in the hood, man, he was El Chapo where I'm from, and he knew I was rapping, but I ain't had the funds, and he had the funds, so he put the fund. You can't do that. You gonna fuck around and get this man indicted, man. And then they gonna fuck around, come for your ass out of you, snatch you up because of your involvement with this motherfucker. So you got to, a lot of shit ain't, what's understood don't need to be explained. And in rap, street always gonna be tied to the rap culture. Don't forget, rap came from in the streets. Rap was created in the trenches, bruh. Granted, it started in New York, but it started in New York in the fucking trenches. Don't think for 1 minute just every nigga from New York just got on because they could fucking rap. It didn't. Listen, some of them niggas got funded by drug dealers, bruh, and became successful. But by that investment, the street niggas put into people that's chasing their dreams, by that people, by the person successfully completing, chasing their dreams and becoming successful, you take that nigga that was living in that negative space right up out that negative space too. And now he get to enjoy his riches the right way. So, like I said, one hand scratch the other. Rappers and drug dealers, rappers and trappers, whatever you want to call it, it's always gonna go hand in hand. It's always gonna be a part of rap culture because in rap culture, sometimes you're gonna have talent that's gonna need some help. And the help ain't always gonna come from no record label. Sometimes it's gonna come from that nigga that you know outside, from your block, from your project, from your section, from your turf, from your gang, from whatever you got going on, your movement, that got the bag to say, listen, cuz you just do what you gotta do, and I'm gonna put this bread up. Next thing you know, y'all build something. Y'all heard Baby Gangsta Williams talk about the same thing. I mean, not Baby Gangsta, but Terrence Gangsta Williams, Baby Birdman, brother, Baby Gangsta, not Baby, but Gangsta Williams, Terrence Gangsta Williams, Birdman's brother. You heard what he said on the interview plenty times. Sometimes, he don't want to be upright with it because, depending on how he say that, that can get Cash Money indicted for him to just sit there and be like, well, I gave him my drug money. They would have made cash. He can't afford to just blatantly do this consistently. You see what I'm saying? Even though they wanted around multi-$100 million label, you see what I'm saying? But it started from nothing. Somebody that had more than the other had to step front, play front line, and see this shit through with their money. The person they was believing in had to put the work in. They was just coming to the table funding the situation. So yes, the streets always going to be part of the rap culture. We are never going to be able to shake this. Now, is it things about the rap culture that we do need to shake? Yeah, a lot of the violence, a lot of the hatred, a lot of the just beefing and bickering with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because we all come from these harsh ass environments, and to make it out is a beautiful thing. Don't waste your blessings on being bitter, man. We watching that today. Casanova, Pablo Juan. You got YSL, YFN. You got they tear shit up in New York. They all down in Florida locking niggas up, charging niggas with nigga. They're everywhere doing this shit now. It's becoming common because one thing we got to understand is we come from the street. They don't even want us to make it, bro. They don't want us to make it out. They do not want us to make it out the street. So when you do make it out the street and become a legal millionaire, you know how much that shit hide their body up. You know how much that shit give them a rash on the ass just because you made it out the same environment they prayed you wouldn't. It's so much shit set up outside for you not to make it. So to be able to go make it, whether you had help or not, is a beautiful thing. And the struggle is another part of hip hop. Like, you take the struggle away, you can't appreciate the hip hop. Some of the most timeless music that we have from in the past came from the struggle. It was the struggle that embedded into those artists for them to give us the stories that we felt too, just like they understood. Like You could hear certain songs and it made you feel like, how that nigga know what I'm going through? Was he in my house when this was going on? You see what I'm saying? It's that deep. This is how deep the streets are tied to the rap culture. So much that if you blink too much and you get lost in the sauce, you can forget you in the rap game, because the rap game is the streets. You can never be outside and blink a couple times and be like, well, I'm in the rap game. Because as a street nigga, even if you get in the rap game, you still a street nigga. Your beef don't change just because you got a bag and a record label signed you. It don't change. Them niggas trying to kill you even more now. When you a street nigga, man, the risk and the reward can weigh the entire same, or you could be doing things that tilt the scale to the fact where what you think is the right thing is totally uneven. The scale's not weighing right. You're not evening this shit out right. It's this shit got to even out. That's why it's important when we get out the streets. It's important that we have to stay out the street. We get the money, we gotta stay out the street. You have to build. It's like once you become grown and you create a family, you are now responsible for seeing your family survive in the future, even if that's without you. You're responsible for that. So to everybody that watch a lot of these blogs and stuff like that, and they got all the negative shit in the world to say about rappers and entertainers and R&B singers, and man, a lot of people, man, never forget, man. In a lot of ways, man, the streets helped a lot of people get to where they got. They got to where they got because the streets gave them alley oop, man. The streets gave them a boost, man. The streets endorsed them when they couldn't endorse themselves properly. You see what I'm saying? The streets will always be a part of rap culture, man. The day that the streets are no longer part of rap culture, rap won't be rap no more. You might as well call it, I don't know what the fuck you gonna call it, but it won't be rap no more. You cannot disconnect the street from rap. Now, what street niggas need to learn how to do is disconnect from the streets once you start making it in rap. If that makes some sense. If I lost you, if I was talking too fast, even though I thought I slowed it down a little bit for y'all, rewind this shit so I could say it again and you could let it register a little bit more. But this shit is serious, man. And I'm gonna appreciate niggas that was outside hustling, that took a chance on somebody else that wasn't fortunate enough to put themselves in position with their own. You see what I'm saying? Because they gave niggas an opportunity, and it's the same opportunity that opened up plenty more doors for other people that didn't end up needing a nigga that hustle to put forth some bread for them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes all it takes is one person to make it. It don't matter. And that's gonna open up so many doors for so many other people. You know what I'm saying? So I salute the niggas that was outside getting it out the mud and put their money on somebody else because they was outside taking the risk for themselves. Yet they took that same money and put it on somebody else in their dreams. So I gotta salute that no matter how negative the situation was, because if we don't do it for us, who do it for us? A lot of times, nobody. That's why you got so many artists chasing record labels down, trying to get a record deal because they need help. Whereas that person that was outside, he can go do anything a celebrity do, but he looking at your little regular ass outside, but you got talent and he can see 10 years ahead of your talent. Like, listen, he gonna be worth putting some money into. And he do that and it work out for both of y'all. You gotta appreciate that, man, because that created a lot of things. And we need to get back. Just think about how strong rap would be if 90% of the rappers got along. They ain't even have to be best friends. Just At least we cordial when we see each other. Man, what's up with my nigga? And share each other's shit. You know, y'all see each other in the club, pop some bottle. You know, if 90% of the rap game reacted like that, it'd be less niggas dying in rap. It'd be less hate. It'd be in way more money than it is right now because some of your favorite artists that have never worked together will be working together. So boom, that's a quick money grab for them. So at the same time, the way the streets help the rap culture, it also defects the rap culture because it's a lot of ill things it throws inside the culture that hurts us. You see what I'm saying? Like this image of being a street nigga shit. Because now you can't be a J. Cole and get a record deal. You can't be Jay-Z and get a record deal because nobody gives a fuck if you can rap. They give a fuck if you outside shooting at people, you come from selling drugs, used to be a driller, known killer, like gang leader, like it's all these negative things are what make you, is what popularizes you in the social media world, as well as in the music world, entertainment too, because people buy into the character you play. So if you like keeping, you know, for instance, King Von, his whole city vouches for the way he was, the type of nigga he was, the fact that he would kill. You see what I'm saying? So people bought into him a whole lot more. But keep in mind, people buying into him not for all the right reasons. You buying into him because he killed people. You're not buying into this man because he did so many good things. You buying into a person over the negativity. And that's what we really do most of the time nowadays in hip hop. We buy into the negativity. Before we want to listen to a nigga tell us how to go outside, get our life together, we want to watch two of these rappers argue with each other on Instagram Live and tell each other they gonna shoot each other, only to go outside and do it, and both sides end up with RICO cases, or both sides just end up in prison, period. Like, we programmed wrong. So the ones that acknowledge the faults and the things that can be fixed, just like the things that feed the energy that we need that comes from entertainment and stuff like that, you got to come back to the streets. Why you think it's so hard for niggas that come from the streets that make it to leave the streets alone? Because the same place that everybody wants you to leave alone is the same place that gave you an opportunity to get in position. How do you turn your back on that? It's no different from Nipsey being in his hood on Crenshaw and Slauson when he get killed. You see what I'm saying? Because he's where he supposed to be. He supposed to provide some type of opportunity, and he's a walking example. So at some points, you have to showcase you being that example. And that's what Nip was doing. He wasn't doing nothing wrong. That don't mean it don't put you in danger still, because the streets and rap are the same exact thing. Y'all subscribe to the channel, man. Hit that like button, ding the notification bell. Don't leave up about the trap till you've been served, and we serving niggas every day. You know how this shit go. It's time for that. Coach for the Streets, hosted by Mafia and Paint. We out of here.